Hi guys, I'm Wenke Langhoff and I healed myself naturally from stage 4 endometriosis. I know doctors say this is not possible because it's a chronic illness and you've got to live with it, but I am the proven living example, hello Philbert, this is my dog, that you can heal yourself from endometriosis and that you can do it naturally. I would say there are 3 pillars that I addressed. One of them was nutrition, the second one was detoxing the body, the third one was mindfulness and learning to not stress about life. I would like to share what I've learned on my journey because there are so many women out there who suffer. One of the ways we're going to do it, and I want to help you, is to actually look at the nutrition side. I'm going to produce a series of videos so that you guys can just copy that at home, cook along, and start hopefully getting inspired to start preparing healthy, nutritious, simple meals made from real, authentic, fresh ingredients that will help you heal your body and help you on your healing journey. Right, I heal myself with something called the Budwig Diet, Budwig. It's a German cancer protocol that works for endometriosis because endometriosis and cancer both start with the same initial cell change called a Warburg effect. What Budwig would always have as her lunchtime option would be a salad, followed by a simple vegetarian main course, followed by a quark linseed oil dessert. So we are going to look at producing that today. So we're making the carrot soup, which will be the main course. And I'm now gonna do a quick salad. It's summer, it's July. We're gonna use seasonal vegetables. Depending on when you're gonna watch this video, just have a look what's available at the time of year you're watching this. The more seasonal we can eat, the more energy is going to be in the food that you're using. Keep it local, keep it seasonal. We've got some very simple salad leaves that we're just going to chop up. So we'll have a base of lettuce. And again, choose whatever lettuce you have available. You can even get a ready-made lettuce bag that's already washed in the supermarket, so you don't have any work with this whatsoever. So all these are from my Riverfoot boxes. This will go, the end bit will go into the compost and it will create new soil for the garden. I've got a kohlrabi here, which I've already peeled, which has come from the garden. So again, we're just gonna chop that up into little bits. But again, as you just be creative and use whatever you fancy. I'm very much a throw everything onto the plate kind of person when I'm cooking, and you know, just use what you've got. We've got these little mini cucumbers that were in my veg box this week, so we're gonna cut one of those up. And the next thing I've got here is some lovely radishes, which I absolutely adore in the summer when they're fresh, and they give a bit of spice as well to the salad. If you fancy carrots on there, put carrots on. If you say, oh, I really like avocado on my salad, stick an avocado on. Put pepper on, put tomato on, whatever it is you fancy. I quite like also putting fruit on salads. I love having salads with maybe some strawberry on it or pears or something. So be as creative as you fancy being and go with the seasons. I went for a month to France to learn French, and I kind of just got a job for a month as an au pair because I needed to immerse myself in the language. And what I learned when I was an au pair in France was a really cool, really simple, fresh mustard and honey dressing. So that's what we're going to do now for the salad. It literally just has 4 ingredients, which is honey, mustard, olive oil, and some apple cider vinegar. All we do is take a teaspoon of whatever mustard you fancy. This is a normal Dijon mustard from the supermarket. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of that in there. And then I'm going to put some honey in. And again, because I'm trying to keep this as cheap and as simple as I possibly can, I have got some normal squeezy supermarket honey. Most supermarket honeys have got glucose syrup mixed into them. It's better than sugar because it will have some percentage of honey in it. But if you can get your honey from a local beekeeper, it's really worth investing. I keep my own bees, so I tend to have my own honey, and I've got a friend who keeps bees, so I do prefer using that. But again, I want to show you that it's really simple and easy to do all this stuff, and that all the ingredients you can, first of all, afford, and secondly, get in a normal supermarket. So we're going to use a normal sort of supermarket honey here. And again, we're just going to put a teaspoon of that onto there. And then we will combine the two until they're really properly merged together. And then very slowly, and the slow is the secret here, we're going to put the olive oil in. So we'll put a little bit of olive oil in, and then we'll mix. So we want to just mix that until it's all one big mass. And it becomes a nice sort of creamy almost. You put a bit more in. And you just add little lugs of oil and then mix it again before you add the next one. So it's almost thick, because as you're beating the oil, it almost creates that sort of consistency. And then when you've done that and the oil, the honey and the mustard are properly combined, you add a bit of apple cider vinegar in it. Why apple cider vinegar? Try to get it organic if you can. Try to make sure it comes with the mother, because that has the raw fermented things in there that we want. And you just add a little bit of that in. That was probably about a tablespoon now. So if we say we had a teaspoon of mustard, a teaspoon of honey, about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and now we're adding a tablespoon of cider vinegar. And then I will just give that a quick taste, and that tastes fine to me. If you feel that's a bit sour, you can just add a little bit more honey into it. If you say, oh, that's not sour enough, it's too sweet, add a bit more vinegar. Be creative with that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put that over our salad. Fresh peas here in my Riverford box today. I have taken the little mini peas out, and they're just raw, so we're just going to sprinkle some of those over the salad just to add a few more nutrients on. There you go.
Why do you have so much raw?
When we cook food, the heat of the water destroys a lot of the nutrients in the food. It's easier digestible, but the nutrient value gets lowered if we cook food. So it's finding that balance. If you have endometriosis and your intestinal tract is already inflamed because you might have it on your bowel, you might find it easier to actually have food that is slightly cooked, because that will be easier digestible. If you can tolerate raw food, try and at least have 30 to 40% of your diet raw, because that is going to give you the most nutrients, because nothing has been done, all the vitamins, everything is in there still. By having a salad with the dressing, you're putting your oil in there, which helps break down the vitamins and make them available to the body. What I'm also going to do in a minute is put on some sunflower seeds, some pumpkin seeds, and a few mixed nuts. I always put those onto pretty much all the food I eat, just to add that extra protein, that extra oil, that extra nutrients onto it. Pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds are real powerhouses of energy. If we think of a seed containing life force, because from a seed life grows, if we can add nuts and seeds to what we eat, and I have them in little jars on the shelf, we just add extra goodness to the plate. And protein and fatty acids, good fatty acids, are vital to return our body back to health. So it's all about protein and good healthy fatty acids, ideally from cold pressed oils. So that's what you want to try and get into your diet. That's what is going to make you healthy again. So these are some sunflower seeds. And again, I literally just take a few and I sprinkle them on. Just a teaspoon on every meal is enough to give you the nutrients that your body needs to restore the cell membrane protein communication that tends to break down when we talk about Warburg effect illnesses like cancer or endometriosis. So everything we do with the Budwig diet is about restoring the fatty acids and the proteins balance in the body so the cells can renew that communication process. And there is our lovely salad that we're going to have as a starter. One of the vital ingredients in the Budwig diet is using quark and linseed oil as your breakfast or as a dip with veggies. Quark is the end product of milk production. It's being sold in the UK, so in Germany you will get it as quark, Q-U-A-R-K. You can also find it in the supermarkets in Britain under quark, and it's usually with the cheeses, near the cottage cheese. Supermarkets have started selling the same thing under different labels. So this is an Aldi one, and it's just a broccoli, it's sold as Greek yogurt. You've got the Aldi version, you've got the Phage or Farge, I don't know how you pronounce that version. U Valley do a really good, again they're selling it now as Greek style yogurt. So the important bit is to look at the ingredients list on the back of these and always make sure that under fat it says 0 gram and under protein it has at least 10 grams. Some of them have 11. So a normal Greek style yogurt, if you buy a normal fresh Greek style yogurt, that will have about 9%. So that's got 7.8%. That's a Riverford Greek style organic yogurt. And it will have some fat in it. So this has got 4.7, which is quite a lot. So we don't want any fat in there, but we also don't want a sort of processed fat-free yogurt. So by buying quark, we know it's a naturally fat-free product. There are loads of these. Skyr is another one. So they're all different brands and labels for the same thing, really. Cottage cheese, if someone likes cottage cheese, great. Get yourself a cottage cheese. I personally don't like the grainy bits in it, but if that's what you prefer, get that. Now to make the Budwig cream, as Dr. Johanna Budwig calls it, we are going to mix the quark or the 0% yogurt with linseed oil. Now linseed oil you can get in the UK. I buy it in a health food shop. You can get it online. Make sure it's in a glass bottle, in a dark glass bottle. Make sure it's organic and cold pressed. So it will say on there, cold pressed, organic, either linseed or flaxseed oil. It's the same, they're just two different names. So Bayona is one of the companies that produces it. Clear Spring is another one. You might find a local organic mill that mills their own. So make sure it's organic and cold pressed and in a dark glass bottle. All you're going to do is take a bowl. You can use a spoon as well or a whisk, whatever you prefer. I'm going to show you several variations of how to do the quark. We're going to start with a savoury one. And again, I'm going to keep it really, really simple. And we're just going to use the curry powder again. We're going to use a herbal salt. So this I get mine in the health food shop. You can get it online as well. It just adds a bit of flavour to things, again, in a very natural way. To make the quark, and this is the base mixture of the quark. With the base mixture, you can then produce either sweet or savoury variations of that. You can make it tzatziki with grated cucumber and a bit of garlic. We are going to make a curry carrot version of it today to have on a cracker with our salad. You can make it sweet, and I will do that in a minute as well. And with overnight oats or just with berries. You can stick cocoa powder in it. So be creative. But I'll show you now how to make the base mixture that you can then be creative with. And that base mixture is always going to be the same. So we are going to start off by putting 2 tablespoons of milk, 3 tablespoons of the flaxseed oil. Mix those until they are fully combined again, until you have no separation between the oil and the milk. So it'll look like that when it's done. And you saw that literally took seconds. And now to that, we are adding 3 tablespoons, about 100 grams of the quark. And then we're mixing that in. So that is the very simple Budwig quark base mixture that gives you the protein and the fatty acids your cells need to restore themselves. And with that base mixture, you can now do whatever you like. I'm gonna do a version with curry powder, herbal salt, a bit of pepper, and some grated carrots that we can have on a cracker. A teaspoon, probably half a teaspoon of the herbal salt. We're going to put in some pepper. Pepper is a really healing food. So ideally you want it freshly ground, and obviously do as much or as little as you can stomach. Into that, probably 3/4 teaspoon of medium curry powder. I love curry powder because it gives you all the spices that are really, really healing as well for your body. And it's just such an easy way of adding that in and giving things flavor. As I said before, if you don't like curry, the flavor of curry, then just use salt and pepper, use herbs from the garden. They can be frozen, again, if you're ill and you haven't got the energy to cut something up. So be creative with this. Give it a quick taste. Yep, that is definitely enough. And I'm going to grate some carrots and put them in to the mixture. You can just have it as a dip as it is. Like if I have to go to work and I'm out and about, I will put that mixture into a little jar and take it with some oat crackers and some cut up carrots or peppers, cucumber, and just use it as a dip as it is there. Today I want it on a cracker and I'm going to grate the carrot into it. With just a normal cheese grater, and you just so there's no excuse to say I can't eat healthily. And you get a workout at the same time. I mean, great. So that's now the carrot just added to that, and we're just stirring that in, and that'll be a lovely dip to go onto a cracker. A really good way of adding extra nutrients onto this is to put in some milled linseeds. So I'm going to do that now and I'll show you. Linseeds are fantastic. They have got the best ratio of omega-3, 6 and 9 fatty acids that the human cell needs. They're really cheap, available in Europe. Chia seeds have got the same nutritional value. It's just that they tend to not grow in Europe, so we have to fly them halfway around the earth. So linseeds or flax seeds that come in dark brown or golden, and the nutrient value is exactly the same, so it doesn't matter what you have for those. A little coffee grinder here. This one I only use for linseeds. What happens is that linseeds have got a really hard shell, so if we don't grind them, the body can actually not use the oils that are in there because it won't be able to access it. So what we want to do is just quickly put them into a coffee grinder to break the shell. They end up like that, and then they go into our dip, adding extra nutrients into there. I've got some little crackers here, and what we'll do is just add a bit of that onto the top here. If you've got some parsley in your garden, you can add that on top as well. And they're a great little snack and a savoury version of having the Budwig quark. So we're outside in the garden just getting some marjoram to put as a decoration onto our crackers. Again, we're at the point now in the summer where it's flowering. I actually love adding the flowers and the leaves onto my food as decoration. So just look how beautiful that looks. I love it's got all the butterflies and all the insects on it. Herbs generally have got a really high nutrient content and are amazing powerhouses of energy. So if you can add herbs onto everything you eat, even if you live in an apartment, stick a few pots on your windowsill. It's really cool to have your own herbs growing, and so easy, like literally £1.50 in the supermarket. You get basil, parsley, coriander, chives. Cutting the herbs makes them grow even more. It's fantastic. So the more you cut them, the more they grow.
How much would you say curing endometriosis or other diseases is down to diet?
So I went to Germany to a Budwig clinic for a month to learn all of this and to get the routine set up to heal. At the clinic, they said nutrition and detox together is 20% of your healing. 80% is stress management, mindset, and working on your limiting beliefs. So it's actually really important to understand that ratio, because so many of us are so happy to go into going, oh yeah, I'm going to start eating healthier. And it's really important. 80% is what's going on up here. So that's really important to keep in mind. And that stuff is learning to meditate, learning mindfulness, learning to not stress, not worry, learning to trust, learning to believe that you can heal, that you can get better, and learning what it means to live the best life you can live that gives you joy. So those are that's the big chunk of healing. 80%. That's what you should really focus on. But 20% is not to be ignored. It's still important, but it is only 20%. Only. The oils, the nuts, the seeds, they will help your mind to be strong. And you need that strong mind to persevere throughout that healing journey, because you're going to have good and bad days. They're not all going to be full of energy and, oh yeah, I'm getting better. No, you're going to have days where you fall back and you feel really crap and you think, why am I doing this? And you question every single thing and you stop believing that you can do it. And it's really important to have something to hold on to on those days. And just giving yourself a bit of nurturing through food might be what gets you through. And certainly the food will give you the energy to get up again and to say, okay, I'm going to keep trying. I'm not going to stop. However hard this journey is, I'm going to take that next step. And I'm going to keep walking. And doesn't that look amazing? And what we're also going to do is stick some of those onto the salads we made earlier. So they can go on there as well. Yum, yum, yum. Healthy, nutritious Budwig food.
Yay! Oh, it looks so beautiful.
I thank you for joining me today and cooking some healthy, easy Budwig recipes. I do help people walk through their healing journey. So if you fancy working with me, get in touch on www.wenke-langhoff.com. That's my website. My book is available on Amazon and Balboa Press, so my whole healing journey is in there. The Budwig quark recipe is in there. The Budwig Day is in there with all the routines that have helped me heal. So do get that. The reason I wrote the book is that I've only got a limited capacity to work with people one-on-one, and I want the message to get out there that we can heal ourselves and that endometriosis is not something you have to live with until menopause comes along and stops your periods. It's something you can actually heal yourself by changing your lifestyle. So that's the message I'm trying to get out there. That's why I've shared my story. So I hope you've enjoyed cooking with me today. There will be more videos coming. So stay tuned, follow us, follow me on Instagram, and get in touch if you've got any questions. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll hope to see you again soon.